this video, I'm going to talk about plants that are slightly on the dark side. Maybe their foliage has got a purple tint to them, or their flowers are quite a dark colour. It's one of those colours which can be difficult to place in the garden, but there are a lot of people who really do like these colours. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. What are we talking about when we're talking about plants which have got a dark side to them? I am talking about plants that, like this Centaurea, have a beautiful dark purple flower. Or I'm talking about this fabulous Thalictrum here, called black stockings, which has got the most amazing dark stems on it. Really beautiful dark coloration on this and going up to a tall height. But then when it flowers, it's a very frothy lilac colour on the top of that. So what people are looking for is they're looking for a key to actually mix these plants together. So although this Thalictrum is fabulous, people love it for the name, black stockings, who wouldn't? It's got this amazing purple stem, and because the leaf nodes and where the leaf is on the stem, they are quite a distance, so you always get to see this lovely dark stem. And in actual fact, sometimes they look far better before the flower comes out than when they do when the flower is there, because it changes what you're looking at. Beautiful pale green foliage, dark stems, looks really striking, upright, and then it's going to go on up. At the moment, this is somewhere around about 2.5, maybe 3 feet in height. It is eventually going to get to about 5 feet in height, so about 1 meter 30, 1 meter 50 is what you expect it to go up to. But this is one of those plants which is very tall but doesn't grow widthwise hugely. It will expand, and you'd expect after about 3 years to have a clump that is somewhere around about 45 centimetres, 18 inches, 15 to 16 of these stems going upright, just really going up to the skies. And then these top here are going to come out and they open up into a big fluffy lilac head on top of this. So really structural. This plant is for part shade to full sun, reasonable soils, but it has this beautiful dark stem to show real interest at the beginning of its growing season. So that is the Thalictrum black stockings. Staying with ones which are tall and again have dark stems, this beautiful Aquilegia. Now this Aquilegia will grow virtually anywhere. They do prefer a woodland type setting, so part shade, dappled light, that sort of area, but no one's told their seedlings, and they will seed around, and those seedlings will pop up all over the place. Now again, this is slightly on the darker side, but if you were to put it with yellow like my jacket, you can show it really does stand out. But it was in a darker spot, it's just a little bit sinister with those hoods hanging down like that. But this is a clear purple on here. This is a seedling from one of our other forms, and it's come out with this type of coloration. You get the dark stems going up, the dark buds, and then opening up. Really quite a fabulous thing. So again, it's for that sheltered, semi-shady spot, and then allow its seedlings to come around. But when it's like this is where my mum would always say, it looks a bit sinister, especially as it's got these strange little hooks at the top here, the spurs on the top of the buds here, and it's a dark colour, but not until it opens up, and then you get the yellow centres. So that is another one that's slightly on the dark side. We have them with beautiful dark purple foliage like this, frothy and purple. This is Foeniculum purpureum, so this is the bronze-leaved fennel. And yes, when you crush the foliage, you get that beautiful fennel foliage. It can be used in the same way that green fennel can. You can utilise the foliage in cooking or in salads, etc., to give you that spicy taste. It'll go up, and it has these lovely purple foliage, which just makes a big mound. This is just quite light and airy, but at the top of it, when it does have a little bit of a flower head, its flower is an umbelliferae, which is a light yellow, so that contrasts well. But most people grow this for this amazing foliage because it really looks great. It is something for a sunny spot in a reasonable soil, and it will just carry on going. Do be aware it can self-seed, so you need to be aware of that. Any of these self-seeders, some people like it, some people don't. To stop them self-seeding, cut off the dead heads. It's as simple as that. And usually if you see them coming up, you can put a hose straight through the seedlings and they won't come back. But this is another one. You've got this dark purple, which then against other things, but it does contrast well when it's with another one of these dark flowers when you've got the green against it. So that one is the Foeniculum. Then we have this amazing perennial Centaurea, perennial cornflower. This one is Jordy. Jordy goes up quite tall, it holds itself up well, and you can see on the stems like this, the first flower here, the next flower here, putting on more flower buds here, more flower buds here. So it will keep on branching and giving you these dark, nearly black, but it isn't quite. It's a deep purple, but quite an interesting flower. And this one again is a cracking one, but it's really very much on that dark colour, these deep purple colours. So that is Centaurea Jordy. So you've got quite a nice little combination going on there. I will put them all together and you can see what they look like together. Looking at purple foliage again, in the spring you get purple foliage on the Actaeas. This particular one is Pink Spike. It has a really good purple coloration to its foliage. The stems stay beautifully purple. This is going to go on up to being something about 1.50 meters before it flowers, and then it has a beautiful white pink flower spike which is scented. So you're growing for this wonderful dark contrast foliage. They must have good soil. They do not like to dry out. So they're going to make eventually, once they're about 3-4 years old, something around about 2 foot round at the base. The foliage will go up to about 2 foot, so that's 60 by 60 with the foliage, a lovely mat of beautiful dark foliage. It's totally herbaceous. Then it will go up with its flower spike and look fantastic. So this is a purple leaf that needs full sun, but it must be in moisture. You can put it in part shade, but it has to be part shade where it is in full sun for part of the day. Otherwise the foliage starts to go green. So a great contrast colour with this one, Actaea Pink Spike. Then there are hardy geraniums, and this is one of the phaeum family. This one is phaeum Samabor. It has these incredible markings on the leaf here, and the leaf makes a wonderful mound. So you're starting off with beautiful, almost black markings on here, and up it comes and it flowers with these purple flowers. And they are pairs of flowers on each point. So you get a pair of flowers, pair of flowers, pair of flowers, and it keeps on going up, and it will finish flowering at around about 2 feet, around about 60 centimeters. The clump will get to somewhere around about 18 inches, 45 centimeters. When it has finished flowering, give it a haircut back. You will then get a beautiful mound of fresh new foliage like this. You get that wonderful marking. And the beauty of this is the contrast between this dark marking and the green of the foliage. You very rarely get a second flowering, but sometimes you will. But it's putting on this dark purple over the top of that. So again, it's very much on those dark hints. Something else which is really tall and will keep on going and flowering through, this is the Anthriscus Ravenswing. Anthriscus Ravenswing has the dark foliage, the dark stems, it branches out, then it has your wonderful typical cow parsley white flower. So that contrasted with this purple and the fact that it's so spaced out really gives it a good architectural feel. And when it's growing, it will waft in the breeze like this. This against pale foliage looks really great. It's a fabulous thing. It's a woodlander, edge of woodland into full sun. and it will be happy there. It will save seed as well. Be aware though, gradually as it gets older and you get other plants self-seeding, you will start to get green seedlings coming through. That's fine if you like the normal cow parsley, but if you want to keep the purple, just rogue out the green ones and keep your purple ones going. Then the last of my ones, which is on the dark side, as I'm trying to say, this one is a Lamprocapnos, and this starts off with dark purple foliage. Then as it starts to go up to flower, that changes to being a very dark green with a hint of purple foliage, red, dark red stems, and then really dark red, beautiful hanging heart-shaped bells. And this is Lamprocapnos Valentine. It's also known as bleeding heart because that's what they look like. But again, this is quite a dark plant. It's got the dark foliage and coming up, and then it will lighten up as the flowers come out. It's not as tall as the other type of spectabilis plants are, somewhere around about 2.5 feet. That's say 60 to 75 centimeters in height, and somewhere around about 18 inches, 45 centimeters as it grows. It does prefer good soil, sun to part shade, and this one will be really happy. So that is a combination of plants which have all got this sort of dark tonation to them. You have the ones which have got the dark flowers. You've got the ones with the dark foliage. Then you have some height, and you've got a little bit of purple, and then you've also got much higher here. So if I was to swap these two out and put that one probably there and put that one at the end like that, you could have a really dark but interesting border of dark foliage and contrasts of stems and flowers and everything else. And you know, this is how colour combinations work. It isn't just because of the colour of the flower, it's the colour of the stems, it's the colour of the leaves, it's the way that the sunlight hits. Perhaps the flower will change the colour of it. So on a dull day, these will all look quite purple and quite dark. On a slightly brighter day, the sunlight goes through the colours and makes them look completely different. I hope you enjoyed this sort of look at different dark coloration on plants that are great to grow and will fill any border and make them look really good. You can mix them and match them with things much lighter, but if you put them together, you can make them look good rather than all going in, because if you use dark colours, they absorb light and then you don't get much show. But if you utilise the way that there is different leaf shapes and different stem colour and different heights, you can make it look really interesting. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.